Distinguished guests, nature carers, and tech lovers, good morning. I am your host for this sub-forum, Wang Dezhi from Paradise International Foundation. The scenes from that opening video were unfamiliar to us, but the mindset was not. Technology. The primary productivity of human society is pushing the human civilization to advance with a speed faster than ever. For long, the development of technology had focused on helping people retrieve natural resources in a wider, deeper, and more efficient manner in order to build a more stable, safer, and comfortable living environment. Finally, during the 60s, people started to realize that the irresistible threat to our survival from the Earth had appeared. We helped shape it gradually, and that situation remains to be tough right now. Technology, is it a destroyer to sustainable development of both human and nature? How should we redefine technology in our society? What actions should we take? And those were the topics that we will discuss right here today. Before we start, let's first welcome the Director General of IUCN, Dr. Bruno Oberle, to address us from online.
And friends in technology, finance, government, and sustainability, good morning to you. It is my honor to participate in today's Nature Conservation Forum of the Inclusion FinTech Conference. I lead IUCN, the International Union for Conservation of Nature. IUCN is the world's largest conservation organization working to preserve nature and halt global species loss. We are responsible for the IUCN Red List, the world's most comprehensive source of information on species at risk of extinction. It is used by government, businesses, and financial institutions around the world. We have also produced the IUCN Green List. This is a standard and certification process that champions successful nature conservation areas. The list already includes several world-class protected areas in China, including candidate areas in Hangzhou, near Ant Group headquarters. Only 2 months ago, we unveiled the world's first global standard for nature-based solutions, which are actions that benefit nature and people and can address huge challenges such as climate change and biodiversity loss. IUCN generates knowledge that guides nature conservation, and as my speech today will show, also has much relevance for fintech. We know the financial sector is increasingly interested in biodiversity issues, sharing our concern at the loss of nature, but also recognizing the risk of investments in unsustainable practices. One reason for this is improved regulation and the growing awareness among government and financial leaders on needing to de-escalate risks linked to nature. For example, in France, a new regulation now requires the financial sector to measure and disclose the biodiversity exposure of their credit and investment portfolios. Furthermore, a new global task force for nature-related financial disclosures, whose leading members include United Nations agencies, shows how the global financial regulatory community is increasingly interested in biodiversity. The financial sector is an influential agent for change and critical for ensuring all economic actors integrate nature in their investment decisions. Digital technology can accelerate our common vision for a sustainable planet. With innovation and solution, private financial flows can play a greater role in protecting biodiversity and restoring our world's nature. Today, I want to share with you 3 roles digital innovators can play to unlock more finance for biodiversity. First, fintech can overcome data barriers to unlock finance for biodiversity. Secondly, fintech can help biodiversity assets access financing through market capitals. Third, fintech can empower citizens to engage in biodiversity finance. Let me move to the first role of fintech, overcoming data barriers. Globally, nature provides humanity with both life-supporting and life-enhancing services valued at $142 trillion per year. Yet we know that conservation faces an annual funding gap of around 300 to 400 billion. Investors often say there is a lack of data and low quality data. Unlike climate finance, where financial service institutions measure the impact in carbon emissions, we do not yet have a clear equivalent for nature. Now, some development banks, such as the European Investment Bank or the Inter-American Development Bank, have published specific guidance for investors. For example, the ASN Bank in the Netherlands has defined biodiversity net positive targets to help measure the biodiversity footprint on their credit and investment portfolio. But they have faced significant challenges in trying to convert financial flows into different sectors across different geographies and into biodiversity impacts in a credible, verifiable, and cost-efficient way. IUCN can help address these barriers. For example, we support the Integrated Biodiversity Assessment Tool, which identifies species, protected areas, and key biodiversity areas at risk for investors and project developers. These partners include many multilateral banks, such as the Asian Infrastructure Investment Bank and the International Finance Corporation. IUCN has also developed standards to guide and assess viable options. The IUCN Green List is now generating verified performance data on the effectiveness of protected areas from local to global level. And we are piloting finance application to assure the veracity of nature conservation results. The natural next step is linking fintech verified results from protected areas to financial opportunities. Fintech can develop data tools that enables the financial community to capture biodiversity risk and measure biodiversity footprint, allowing us to reallocate capital away from investment that damage biodiversity. This is why fintech can overcome data barriers to unlock finance for biodiversity. The second role of fintech is helping biodiversity assets access financing through capital markets, particularly with new digitally powered capital markets instruments. China is a champion in green bond issuances, and others are following. However, it has been more difficult for capital markets to finance biodiversity-related projects. Only 10% of green bonds globally raise capital for biodiversity assets. And an important reason is because biodiversity assets tend to be too small. Many do not scale beyond $5 million US. Fintech make it possible to design and issue smaller financial instruments. For example, biodiversity-linked digital bonds and loans have high potential to scale up biodiversity finance now and in the future. The IUCN Green List of protected areas can potentially use fintech to scale up locally verified data on investment so that it meets the needs of capital markets. The fintech sector can also help aggregate small-scale biodiversity projects into large investment portfolio that delivers nature-based solutions. An IUCN self-assessment tool is already available, along with a set of benchmarks to help design, apply, and verify such solutions, thereby providing much-needed assurance for investors. This is why fintech can help biodiversity assets access capital markets. Third, fintech can empower citizens to engage in biodiversity finance. Ant Group has used digital technology to make climate finance inclusive and focused on citizens. Alipay and Forest has enabled 7% of the global population to move towards green lifestyles through artificial intelligence supervised carbon accounting. It is amazing that users are offered to plant trees or adopt land to enable it to rest or rebuild. This creative way of deploying mobile financial platforms is a wonderful opportunity for biodiversity. Fintech can offer new engagement through tracking how our action impact biodiversity and through leveraging artificial intelligence and enabling citizens to invest directly in biodiversity improvement. Today, I have therefore shown 3 ways fintech can unlock finance for the nature. First, through overcoming data barriers. Secondly, through helping biodiversity assets access capital market. And third, through empowering citizens to engage in biodiversity finance. These are 3 concrete avenues that I hope will mature over the coming years, and IUCN is ready to take an active role in this. We look forward to collaborating with China, the finance community, and other partners to bring more innovative solutions to market and will foster investment in biodiversity and contribute to the world sustainable development journey. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Bruno. Inclusion is the top-rate fintech conference. I, as someone who works on nature conservation, moderates this meeting in such a fintech conference, and this speaks to the fact that technology and social good and green are merged together as a set of keywords that we want to communicate to the world. This forum is focused on the future of man and nature, and this is the last but not the least content of this conference. The motive of setting this forum at the very last will be introduced to you by the host of Inclusion to interpret for us the understanding of Ant Group on nature conservation. Now let's welcome Sabrina Peng, Ant Group Social Good and Green Development BG Vice President, to the stage. Thank you, especially thank you, Bruno, for the inspirational opening remarks. And I wish to thank you both offline, present here, and online. I'm very glad to see young people, kids, sitting among the audience. I believe that the environment or nature will be better because of your attendance, because of your interests. The reason why we have this pretty special forum is though inclusion is a top-notch global fintech conference, we have this forum here today to explore the relationship between technology, human, and nature. 66% of ocean across the world, 75% of the land, and over 1 million species have become severely endangered as of 2020. Coexistence is an issue facing all of us here today. At the beginning of this year, when we started planning for this conference, we set for ourselves a goal. That is, we want to build inclusion into not just a top-notch fintech conference, but also a green conference. We referenced green meeting guidance of the UN to take resource management as a guideline for organizing this conference. And attendance needs to be low carbon. Attendance, shuttle buses, and all the other green practices will bring you green energies. And these green energies will be converted to trees at deserts. And you can also experience carbon emission cuts through attendance of this conference. However, there are also crowds who have incorporated green practices into their daily lives. A set of data here, since August 2016, when Ant Forest was launched, accumulatively there have been over 20 million trees planted in the deserts. The number of trees, the total size of attendance, and the total carbon emission have set Shanghai at the top of all cities, exceeding Beijing, Shenzhen, and Guangzhou. So let's give a warm round of applause to all those who've contributed to Ant Forest from Shanghai. That is why we are well positioned to have it here today in Shanghai, because Shanghai is not just a fintech center, but also a hub championing nature conservation. A coastal city through innovation of technology has unleashed enthusiasm for low carbon life, but has also brought trees to far-fetched desert areas in the West. It went beyond our wildest dream. However, it's been realized through technology. Ant Group has been focused on using technology to make development inclusive and green. Financial inclusiveness has been our creed since our establishment. We've got products along this line, but inclusiveness of social good is what we've been exploring. Social good is different from philanthropy because its biggest feature is inclusiveness, is benefits for all. We believe that through internet, through technology, everybody can enjoy diverse ways and methods of participation in social good. And Ant Forest is exactly because of this motive. It's been 4 years, and a total of 550 million netizens that have planted trees in deserts. The number is over 220 million trees, equivalent to over 200 million Singaporean lands. And we are also benefited from the process of planting trees. I traveled to Gansu and Inner Mongolia, and everybody is impressed by the changes, albeit minor, in these areas. I've also gone to #1 plantation area, and you've seen pictures of them. And when you see that vast expanses of Halaxylon amodendron are planted there, you are really glad. Water is a scarce resource there, and for us, these saw trees do not enjoy the best of habitats. However, because of our plantation, the local lands and soils have been improved, and we are really moved by the fact that the tiny efforts by everyone has made huge changes. Exactly this day last year, Gant Forest received the top award of the UN, the Earth Safeguard Award, and it belongs to all the 550 million ant forest netizens. Belongs to everyone who's used mobile phones to contribute their little, and also belongs to us all. What does it take to conduct social good? A good heart and power, the power to do social good. What does it take to have this power? It takes efficiency, and it also takes to be results oriented. So we take a golden heart to business of the social good. It is because of Alibaba's entire group that we could make sure that all the pandemic material can be sent to over 150 countries and regions. All the employees in Alibaba took a different hat, and they became people who connected dots of donations, of donators with those in need. And these are exactly social good, but these social good are approached by our commercial capabilities. Lots of those working in ant forest have never done social good before. They worked in businesses, but they brought their philosophy in ant forest. And years ago, we've been thinking how to use technology to plant trees well. But when it comes to nowadays, they think beyond that. Planting trees is a very good result, but they're now thinking of how to alleviate poverty, how to help the impoverished peasants and farmers, and to reach a balance between development and nature through planting trees. That is why we have Pingwu honey products like these. These have been developed on the basis of natural products that we focus on, and they are all the rage on the internet. And we've also developed economical plants on the basis of source trees. And all our staff have been thinking how to increase efficiency, how to get better results, how to make sure that one can produce or can multiply benefits. So the society needs to think how to use digital technologies to change all our lives. So is social good, because the empowerment of digital technologies can help the social good sector increase the power to do it all. At last, I'm reminded of a promotional video that we aired for you at the beginning. What we believe is what we will achieve, and we believe that social good will become much more inclusive because of technology, because of digital technology. We believe that social good needs a good heart and power. Technology and our power to do social good is changing the way we do social good, and we believe that step by step all the beautiful things in our mind will be materialized. And let us work hand in hand, international institutions, scientists, netizens, and us use technology to protect the earth. Thank you.